Tide Talk Web is back. Now it's time to get down. It's time to get serious because we're going to talk about the Alabama schedule for next year. Anyway, first game up is Florida State. That's going to be a harder game than people think. A lot of people think it's an easy win. I do have us winning that, but the one thing I think we have an advantage in that is we have a great defense coming back, senior laden. The one thing I think is going to hurt us is Castellanos, that really good quarterback that played at Boston College last year that scrambled all over the place and had a good arm. He's now at Florida State. His offensive coordinator is Gustav Mahoney, a.k.a. Gus Malzahn. That provides a lot of things that are scary. They shut down spring practice. I mean, some of that is they don't want people to see their playbook. He throws everything at you but the kitchen sink. It's very hard to defend. We've played them a lot in the past, and we figured him out. But he has not been a big-time offensive coordinator in a while. So we haven't seen his offense. We haven't seen his trick plays. It's all about being disciplined, playing lane coverage, not letting the quarterback get outside the pocket or overrunning the quarterback, kind of like people played Milroe. That's kind of where we're at on that game. I do think we win it, but it can be a 50-50 game. That is a little scary. Then we play University of ULM, and I think we definitely easily win that game. Then we're at Wisconsin. They have a pretty good team. They're not too bad. They picked up some portal guys here and there, but they're still Wisconsin, so we're going to beat them. Then we go to Georgia. Going between the hedges is never easy. It's a tough game. More than likely, they're going to have Gunnar Stockton as the starting quarterback. A lot of people, because he didn't play great at the end of the year, he was thrust into kind of a bad situation. But it's going to be a tough one. We're between the hedges. It's going to be at night. It's going to be at 8 p.m. It's going to be the SEC game of the week. They're wanting a revenge game. It's going to be hard. We're going to have a new quarterback that's untested going in there. He will be older than Ty Simpson, but you still got that whole thing to fight. It's not an easy go in there at night. It's going to be a tough go. That's another one. I'm sorry. I think it's 50-50. I don't think that's a guaranteed win for us. I just don't. Do I think we have better firepower with our new kind of revamped wide receiver core? Yeah. But, will that offensive line, Formby and some of those other guys be able to open holes for the running backs? That's another big question mark we have. And not having a Milroe, they know that. So they can kind of pin their ears back a little bit, and it's not as a tricky thing for them. So that's going to be a game plan, where Ryan Grubbs has got to dial one up. Then we go to Vandy. That's another revenge game for us. Hopefully we get a win there. I don't think that's going to be – we're not going to be overlooking them this year. I don't think that's going to be an issue. I definitely think that's a win for us. Then we go to Missouri, at Missouri. I'm not even going to waste time talking about that game. They don't scare me. I think that's easily a win for us. Then we come to Tennessee, which I do think we win because Lamia Leyva is left. He's not there anymore. But if you really look at it, that defensive line, the defensive backs, and Dylan Sampson, the running back, carried that team. You can look at all the stats. Lamia Leyva was the ninth best quarterback in the SEC. I mean, he had so many receivers busting free downfield. He never hit one of them. Now they've got a new quarterback. It was an App State transfer, and he was pretty good. Like I said, Joey Aguilar, if I'm saying it right. He had 3,000 passing yards in 24 and 23. He had 36 and 25 touchdowns, respectively. In 2023, he had 36 touchdowns. 2024, he had 25. He had 10 interceptions in 23 and 14 INTs in 24. Now App State is a big difference between SEC football, and, that could play a factor. I still think that's going to be a tough game. That's not an easy give-me game. It's going to be a very tough game. I definitely think we can win that one. It's going to be tough. Another 50-50 game for me, is South Carolina. Then we go to South Carolina that next week. Lenore Sellers is an amazing QB. He's one of the top, I think, QBs coming back in the SEC. They had a pretty darn good running team. They have some great defensive ends that can get upfield and get at you quick if you don't block those guys. So that's going to be equally as a tough game. I'm sorry. I think that's a 50-50 game. I'm a believer in South Carolina. Now we will be seasoned at that time. Will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That'll be our 8th game of the season. So we should be, minus injuries, we should be pretty darn seasoned. We should know what we got going into that game. Also, then we play LSU after that. That's another tough game. That's not always a win. We know Brian Kelly is one of those guys that when he stares across the field and he starts to lose, he looks like a guy who's just eaten, 3 bowls of drywall. He's just that guy. He definitely underachieves for the talent that he has. Nussmeier throws like 4K yards every single year. He did 30-something touchdowns. He's a good quarterback. That's another great challenge for that Alabama defense, the senior ladenness coming back. We'll have to kind of see how that goes. I think that game is also – it's a 70-30, 50-50. It's a tough one. It's not easy. It's not a gimme. Then we have a revenge game against Oklahoma the next week. That's not an easy game. They were down to like walk-ons playing wide receiver last year because the injury bug hit him so hard. So that's another test for Bama. I don't think it's an easy game. I think we win that one. The next week after that, we've got Eastern Illinois. Yeah, why even talk about that game? We'll win that one. Then we've got Fairburn. Fairburn. I don't care what's going on with them. They got Hugh Freeze. I don't even care. That's a win. Period. That's the way I look at it. I think that's a win. The games, like I said, they're in check. South Carolina, LSU, Florida State for me, even Georgia. So there's 4 potential games that are rough. Hopefully we come out of there 3-1 out of all those. I don't think we go throughout the year unscathed. We got a new quarterback. That's another break-in process, So hopefully, best case scenario, 3-1. 2-2 would be great. 3-1 would be the best for me. Some numbers I wanted to let you guys know for all the anti-Deboer haters out there. Let's go over these numbers that you on Saturday Down South had this list. I thought it was very interesting. There's 5 numbers that anti-Deboer crowd needs to hear. The first one is .833 win percentage versus top 25 teams in the last 5 seasons. That's number 1 against the last 5 seasons. That's number 1 of all coaches in college football. Absolutely phenomenal. That you can't argue with. So even with a quarterback that was struggling last year and some of the offensive line struggles we had, some of the banged up stuff on defense, that's a great record. That's nothing to blink an eye at, guys. That's amazing. The second number is 0. Number of wins Dan Lanning, Brian Kelly, Kirby Smart have against Deboer right now. 0. That's phenomenal. Phenomenal. So that's just absolutely amazing. Number 4 is 28.1. Take away non-offensive scores. That is how many points out of 16-team SEC. How many points out of a 16-team SEC averaged more points per conference game? Nobody averaged more. We had some down games. Yeah, we had some bad stuff. But if you average it out, that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. 17.4 points allowed per game, best mark by Bama defense since 2017. Think of that, guys. Since 2017, last year was the best defensive mark points we have given up per game since 2017. And one of those years in 2020 under Saban, we won a championship. So that's pretty darn phenomenal. That's a good, So like I said, I'm a big believer in Kane Womack. Even with some things that went wrong last year, there was quite a few games we lost. 3 of the 4, we asked him, hey, can you just hold the team to a 0? That's not possible nowadays. It's not possible. In a lot of those games we lost, he held on to the mid-4th quarter or 4th quarter and just couldn't do it no more. So that's on the offense for not helping out at all. And that's a defense sucking wind. The last number is $60 million end of 2025. If we get rid of him, he is owed 87% of that money to 85%. So that's $60 million. So we're not getting rid of him. Any of y'all anti-Kalen DeBoer haters, just buckle up, baby. He's here for a while. That's all I got tonight. Tomorrow night I'm going to try to break down the top 25 list in the country way too early and the top SEC list. And we'll kind of break some of those numbers down, talk about that. Anyway, Tide Talk Web is out.